Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha, and today I'm having steak, brown rice, and broccoli. Today we're going to talk a little bit about one of my kind of pet peeves with the whole flexible dieting community, and that is this idea that they push that orthorexia nervosa is a major problem. And I think that we need some context here for this. And when I say this, I want to be clear. I am very sympathetic to the problems that eating disorders cause. All right, I know people personally. I've known people in real life. I've had clients, former clients, who've had issues with anorexia, with bulimia, things like that. These are real issues. These are officially recognized eating disorders that cause a lot of distress. We need to be clear. Orthorexia is not an officially recognized eating disorder. There's your first problem, right? There's awareness of it. Psychologists don't recognize it as an eating disorder. Not in their manual. So, makes it pseudoscience. Makes it pseudoscience. The people who are harping on and on about it, who pretend to be evidence-based, you guys are working off of an eating disorder that's not considered so far to officially be medically recognized. And people have been talking about it for decades now. You guys are harping on an eating disorder that is not recognized medically. Don't pull this evidence-based bullshit with me. Number two, and again, for those who aren't aware, orthorexia nervosa is an supposed eating disorder based around eating clean or eating healthy. The people who obsess over eating clean and healthy all the time and have good food, bad food lists. All right, some of this should be common sense. These people say, you can't define good and bad food. Really? Well, their quantity matters. Yeah, quantity does matter, but you don't know what foods are causing obesity. Not hard to figure out. You don't know what foods are contributing most to cancers, diabetes, things like that. Really? Telling me you don't know this? I'm going to ask a very simple question. Ask a real simple question. Anybody develop morbid obesity or diabetes as a result of eating chicken and broccoli? No. Doesn't happen. Number two, sit back and look at what the real issue is. Ironically, because I don't work with the general population, I actually work with populations that do need to be eating junk food. I deal with a lot of skinny guys who need to gain weight and are active, but that's a niche demographic. By and large, most of these people are personal trainers. They deal with the gen pop. Telling me the gen pop needs to be eating junk food to bulk up? I mean, y'all's clients come to you because they need to bulk up, that's the majority. You guys aren't coaching a bunch of strength athletes like I do. Half of them are coaching housewives who need to lose 40 pounds. What are you guys talking about? Granted, there's context here, but let's look at America by and large. Look at Western civilization. What are our number one killers? And these aren't even, nothing else is even close. All right, the big three, and nothing competes with them. Things like murder, accidents, those are way down the list. They're all obesity related. Here's your hint. Cardiovascular disease, heart attack and stroke. In fact, when we place those into two categories, it gives us a top four. So even if you divide cardiovascular disease up, it's a monstrous number. That's your killer. This is what kills us. And it's overwhelmingly the top. When you combine all cardiovascular disease together, we can almost just say throw everything else out. Nothing else really kills you statistically. But what's number 2 and 3? Cancer, diabetes. That's if we lump all cardiovascular disease together. We could break it up and make, about 5 categories, and we'd have like the top 5 or 6. When we add all these together, if we have cancer, diabetes, so it's cardiovascular disease, which is heart attack and stroke. Cancer, diabetes. That's what kills us. And you guys are going to harp on about orthorexia being a problem. Really, I think obesity is a problem. Now, and people say, well, calories in, calories out. Well, here's your issue. A lot of people can't moderate junk food. I'm going to go so far as to say, I bet 40 to 50% of the population does not have the ability to moderate junk food. Therefore, flexible dieting will not even work for them. I would go so far as to say that 50% of the population in America would live longer if they developed orthorexia nervosa that you guys are worried about. How are you helping anyone? How are you helping anyone with this? And granted, I understand that, well, they could still eat really clean and they wash their food, haha. And their typical lines. And still be overweight. Yeah, but it's a lot harder to be overweight. In other words, if right now, every single last person in America just stopped drinking sodas, and I'm not going to use whatever different words they use all over the country. There are cultural different words for this, and some of them are really silly. Sodas, you guys know what I'm talking about. All right? They stop drinking soda. They stop eating foods fried in oils. Just those 2 things alone. We completely eliminated them. Actually, they quit putting refined sugar on anything and only allowed themselves a cheat day once a week where they eat any refined sugar or any fried foods fried in oils. If that happened right now, what would happen to all those death statistics? What would happen to our obesity statistic? It would go down. It would go down dramatically in the next year. I bet you our average body weight in America would go down 15 pounds in 1 year for the whole country. I guarantee you within 5 years, our heart attack and cancer rates and diabetes rates would be cut in half. The 3 biggest killers, they'd be cut in half. If we made those 2 changes, if all Americans just decided those things were bad and they were going to limit them to 1 cheat day per week. You see the problem then with pretending that this is a real issue? Not saying it's not for a few individuals. I'm talking about some lean people who want to get real lean, who want to get shredded, and then you're concerned with this end of the eating scale for them. Okay, that's different. But for the general population, you're killing them by pushing this nonsense. Orthorexia would probably save their lives. It would probably save their lives. It'll add 10, 20 years of their lifespan and quality of life. The people who need to be worried about it are guys like my skinny undereaters, my hard gainers. High school athletes who need to bulk up. High activity people, athletes are the only people on the face of the earth who would benefit from not being orthorexic. Let's put it that way, at least in first world countries. So you're not helping anybody, guys. It's a misallocation of resources. Unless you plan on getting the whole world athletic and telling everyone they should compete in a sport and get under a barbell, this is a problem. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.